Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. John Belkowitz, Intelligent Concrete. We just had the snow cyclone bomb of 2019 rip through our pastures over here. So we're just getting back into the lab after a very cold and snow digging day yesterday. And I got this YouTube or question on our YouTube channel about, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, I'm a welder, and Patchouli will put the question up there here in a second. Ding! But the question was, how do I increase the ductility of a concrete countertop? And there are many ways, and I think we could take two avenues. And the question was, where can I do, or how can I do this with materials that I can get as a homeowner or do-it-yourselfer? And, I guess the two directions is, one, if you're just going to Home Depot, Lowe's, or two, if you want to try and go over to Whitecap or even call up some of these distributors of concrete additives and ask them if they can send you a sample. And a lot of these folks are really good. They'll send you a 5-10 pound bag, a 5-gallon bucket. We even have folks that send us 200-pound samples. So anyway, so if you're at Home Depot, you're really limited with what you can do. And I would say the first thing is load up on steel. I don't really know what you're going to be putting on there, but let's assume for a second it's a solid block of steel, maybe 8 inches by 10 inches by 10 inches, and it weighs 50 pounds or 40 pounds, or maybe it's something larger than that weight and it weighs 100 pounds, and you want to put it over a certain span like a 4-foot span with your concrete countertop. The reality is that concrete is not very good in tensile strength. So if you put something very heavy on a very long span, it'll end up bending. And when it bends, that lower portion of that concrete countertop, if we take that cross section, the lower portion is going to be pulling, and here, wow, this comes in handy. So this is what the cross section of your countertop is going to look like. So you're going to see this stretching or this tensile capacity of the bottom portion of your concrete is going to be put to the test. And as we know, and the top portion is going to be in compression, it's going to be squeezed. We know that concrete is horrible in tension. So putting steel reinforcement at the bottom section of your concrete countertop is going to help absorb some of those catastrophic loads that would cause failure. That being said, there are other ways that you can do it. And instead of making the span really, really long, you could put columns or just supports in the middle, so you're reducing that span length and you're putting more supports in there for that weight. The other thing that you could do is tailor the concrete mix. And the easiest way of doing that is using steel fibers. So it could be argued that it's hard for you to get steel fibers. Now, I would argue that all you got to do is type in steel fibers plus concrete, look up your local supplier, or get a name or a number and just ask, hey, where do I get samples from? Because you don't need a lot of fibers in your concrete, and you don't want a lot to get that universal dispersion. So that's the other way that I would go about it. Again, that takes a little bit more chutzpah. You got to go after that supplier and get those samples. You call 1 or 2 suppliers, you'll get enough samples to make. 1 supplier should be enough for a very long concrete countertop, especially if you're only using 2 to 3.5% of fibers. So that's the way that I would go after making a concrete countertop more ductile, tougher, just more resilient to those tensile forces, and have the ability to hold more weight with a longer span. So hopefully I answered that question. If you have any concrete questions, concrete concerns, don't forget to like and subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you very much for your time. Go concrete, beat asphalt.